Yes, I do have one suggestion for, it pertains, I guess, to the youth and the future at the same time that I think would be really helpful. I only have the suggestion because I actually grew up most of my life between here and the Yakima Nation. One thing the Yakima Nation has for their youth is they had their own youth council. And this youth council really, literally went out, reached out to every student they could find, child, whatever it was. They took them, they did things with them. One thing I do know is they took them to a lot of youth conferences. I myself attended a couple of them myself. One that I really think helped out a lot of the youth there was they sent them to the Unity conference, and it's a really great conference. The two times I went, what they were doing was discussing, how they can benefit the other youth in the tribe, and how they can help also, show the adults that it doesn't always have to come down to what you know, but what you can learn from your youth. And I really think that can help.
I love it. I love that. That's great. That's what I'm talking about. When I say our membership have the answers, that's awesome. That's something that is just, I think that's great.
Yeah, I saw on Northwest Indian News at one of these youth conferences that they had the movie stars from one of the Twilight movies there. And then actually then here in Tacoma at the Urban Grace Church downtown Tacoma, I actually brought my own nephew like last year and my own nieces to meet Sherman and Alexi, So, there's all kinds of stuff always going on. So, there's always youth stuff always going on for, local natives and everything, like this summer, Shoni Shimmel's coming to town, and that the Key Arena is almost sold out, so, yeah, all right.
And that's what we're doing this all for. I mean, this whole thing of developing our tribe for the future, or preparing our tribe for the future, is for our youth. That's what it's all about. So, yeah.
So, because the webcast wasn't live when we started, somebody just now asked if it hasn't been addressed, how do you feel about the council, appointing somebody to replace Chairman Dillon? So even though you've already addressed that, people that are watching it live now are wondering what your answer to that was.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. That was a big part of our earlier discussion, and we apologize that we weren't able to have the live feed on sooner. But to answer that question, as I mentioned to the crowd here, we have the power within ourselves to take it out of the council's hands. We have the ability to vote for the remaining qualified candidates and elect them to that position. So I won't go into all of the detail that we talked about earlier, but just to know that the way the court systems are set up right now, chances are the council would have the authority to appoint someone based upon our current law. And so unless that law changes, or unless the membership takes matters into their own hands and votes for one of the other qualified candidates, they will be able to make that appointment. But that's why I'm saying to our membership that we're confident that we'll vote for qualified candidates, and we'll take that decision out of the hands of the council, and we'll hold on to our right to exercise our vote. So that's that. Anything else?
I guess this is a new topic, and I guess it goes back to something I just keep hearing over and over, is that there's a lack of information being shared with the membership. And I'm actually kind of curious as to what happened with that plan for the fishermen on the river. They were going to build a boat ramp and ice machines and restrooms, and it seems like I'm hearing of lots of planning things that go on at the tribe, and then stuff stops. And I don't know if that has to do with like the politics of who gets elected into council, or if the ball just gets dropped, or and then that goes opened up to other things like does our tribe need a longhouse for our people? Like, we don't have one of those types of gathering places, and I guess into the cultural realm of
Yeah.
discussion.
Hey, Tim,
Yeah.
I'm on a fish committee,
Good. Yeah, good.
but we did meet with the tribal council last week, and on the boat ramp, we have $750,000 for a boat ramp. I've mentioned it 2-3 times to the tribal council, and last week they approved for us to move forward with it. Now, that's on the boat ramp. Now, that there is BIA money, so that's pretty safe. I told them it wasn't controversial money, so they agreed to let us move forward and have a meeting with Andrew in land use, and he's one that does that there. Now, ice machine, now, that's another thing there. We're trying to get a bigger one. The other one wasn't big enough. And they told us kind of go ahead and move forward with that there last week too. But we're supposed to have a meeting with Julie, there's a lady that's in charge of the money there and the accounting and such like that there, Julie Hamilton, and there's some money that we got in a settlement. I do believe it was $2 million, and that was for a net replacement fund, which has not been used for, last time it was 15, 20 years ago. It hadn't been used over half a dozen times, I think, over the years, because there's no more fish to fish out for out in the bay, and that's what it was for. Nobody fishes out there anymore. So we wanted to take and ask Julie how loose it is, that can we use it for something else, such as an ice machine to get ice for the fishermen. Or if not, I'm going to take and hand it back to council and tell them, go get this money loosened up so we can get such things. But in the meantime, give us money out of a certain fund that they have, and maybe it's very expensive for an ice machine. I think the one we're looking at was $80-some thousand, so they're not cheap, you know. So that's why we have one that, I don't know how much it was, but then that thing's been just overworked and it's too small. So that's where that kind of stuff. I don't know if there was anything. I think that answers 2 of them. I don't know if there's anything else there or not.
So that leads to one thing, and that is that, you know, we know that there are positive things that are happening at the tribe. You know, we can sit here and talk about the things that aren't happening, but what it really comes down to is the lack of communication leads to speculation, and so we're just left guessing.
Right.
You know, there needs to be a way for the tribe to be able to communicate these things. Again, and you've kind of touched on those.
Can I get my...
So, but you are
Can I get
one
my
man,
presentation?
and if you are elected, and you can't get council to have open council meetings, and you can't do that, what are you going to do to provide the transparency that you can to the membership so they know what's going on?
Well, again, and I totally intend to have these types of meetings to continue. You know, I think as a council member, I'm a tribal member too, and we can continue to have these meetings. So, you know, regardless of whether the tribal council, you know, comes forward and wants to organize these types of meetings, I think we need to continue this. Tonight is the first of these types of things, and we need to keep the ball rolling. We need to get that synergy growing and growing so that the council's not going to have a choice, because the membership is going to be on board, and they're going to be excited about the things we're talking about and the things we're doing.